Let me just say a word about what the role of citizen activism is as persons of faith. It's one way that we put our prayers into action. Faith without works is dead, saith the scripture, and we often quote this. But what's really true is that the faith becomes alive in not just ourselves, but becomes a visible witness to the world, as we are taught and admonished to do by our faith and by the witness of so many who've gone before us. When we think about the church's role through history, it is a mixed bag. It would be a delight to God and to all Christianity if, in fact, we labored as assiduously for the common good and for those who are most vulnerable and most in need of care as we have for the privileges and powers that we've over time accumulated. But it makes all the more important that we use those privileges and powers to access those who can affect the lives of millions. That's what citizen advocacy is. It's both an underpinning of your faith and a witness in public to it, but it's also a chance to inform and support those good efforts, some of which you heard from Amanda today, that are really, truly addressing critical ills in our society. I think I've been following the bill, particularly about the mandatory move from youth to adult courts. This limits prosecutors. It makes it very difficult on families. It sometimes railroads one-time offenders into a lifetime of degraded possibilities and it snowballs. Our criminal justice system isn't working as well as I know we can make it work. So with prayer and with this action together, we might, in fact, be able to encourage those legislators who are taking those bold steps, and particularly encourage those legislators who are not yet emboldened. Your comments, your calls, your letters can, in fact, give support to those who are on the fence, who are not sure, who don't know if their constituents would support them. We have reliable reports from legislators that say that they sometimes receive as few as 5 or 6 letters about any point of legislation. Imagine then if the people of faith and the people watching this simply picked one of these issues and took the time to write an email or called the legislative message line. Yeah, that's the easiest way to do that. Let me share my screen so I can share with you a few resources that you might want to write down. The easiest way to influence any of the legislation that you've heard about is probably through one of the ACLU trackers, which will let you email them directly, but you can also leave a voicemail. You can leave a message at the legislative message line, and you can also find out about bills at the LRC, that stands for the Legislative Research Commission. They're the body of the government that manages all the bills in the legislative process. The lrc.ky.gov website is a great source. You can track bills, you can read legislation, you can see what the schedule is, which committees are meeting and which bills they're following. That's a little harder to do now that the COVID has made things a little more difficult, but this is a great way to find out. And this 800 number, 1-800-372-7181, is your direct line to some very friendly people who will very happily take your message for any legislator, any group of legislators, any committee that you would like to send a message to. So for example, one easy way is if you know your name of your legislator, they will get the message to them, or if you don't know, they will help you find out. But if you would just call and say, I would like to leave a message for Representative so-and-so to support House Bill 50, the mental health parity bill. I think that's a great idea, and I hope they'll give it their full support. That will be transcribed, that will be sent to them on a little slip of paper, and that will contribute to the support for that bill in ways that, as I said, appears like you're doing very little, but in fact, maybe one of the 5, 10, 15 bills, 15 pieces of paper that support that from a legislator who was not sure. You can also call an entire committee to support or oppose something. You can leave as many messages as you want. You can leave as many messages for as many representatives as you want. The people are really great. They're well trained. And once you call the first time, you'll be in the system and they'll just say, oh, are you so-and-so from such and such? And you'll say, yes. And they say, great, what's your message? And they'll type it in verbatim. That message line is open early in the morning till late at night during the legislative session. I think I'm right, Amanda. Isn't it open till 11 o'clock at night on weekdays? and even has some weekend hours as well. So please put that number in your speed dial. This is my mantra. I put that on the speed dial because I'm always listening to NPR in the morning, and there'll be something that says, oh, the legislature is considering this or that. I can hit that speed dial button and leave them a message. I can call and say, I'd like to see leadership. I'd like to leave a message for the committee on the House Committee on Judiciary Affairs. All of that really makes a difference. The other way that you might also want to be aware of is that you can make a call to the governor. Has a constituent services office. Here is the governor's line. It's not an 800 number, but it is readily accessible. 502-564-2611. This is the line to contact the governor about issues in state government. So if there's something that the governor could influence, if there's something that you'd like to communicate to the, or have a need in terms of a social justice or in terms of a criminal justice proceeding, this is the line to call. You'll also see there a long address that will give you the contact page for the governor, and they can take your email at that one as well. That's governor.ky.gov/contact-us/pages/contact-us.aspx. But if you go to the governor's webpage and just Google it, you'll find the link more quickly probably than trying to copy that down. All of these are resources to us. And as I say, don't underestimate the power of those phone calls. They really do make a difference. And as I say, in an era where people are distracted, where the government is under less scrutiny because we can't all be there, your calls, let them know that you're watching. Let them know that they are being attended to, that their work matters, and that how they do that work matters to those of us who are part of their constituencies in the states and counties. I encourage you to go ahead and follow those. When we're done with this, make a phone call. Just practice it. Just try it out. Again, they're very friendly folks, and they will help you out. Pick one of these bills or pick them all and say, I'd like to leave a message for the following people. They will be really gratefully received. I'm showing now on the screen, I hope you can see that next Tuesday, we'll be looking at health issues in Kentucky, and you'll see some of the additional issues of focus as we come forward into this legislative session. There is lots to work on. There's lots to be attentive to, but thanks to the prayer and power of our faith, we know that when we stand together, we stand stronger. And when we lift our voices for justice, we trust and know that God's voice is added to ours, and that slowly, slowly, the arc of the universe bends.